November 9th, 2019. It's time for Club 316 FM show with your host, Kirk Benton. Tonight, we're going to talk about the Ark of Gabriel. Old news or new news? 2015, a major catastrophe. 4,000 Muslims dead for a strange ray of plasma emitting from a box somewhere at the bottom of an archaeological dig at Mecca. Strange? We're going to take a closer look at it. And we'll discuss John Kerry visiting Antarctica on election day back in 2016 or 2015. What was it? Oh yeah, I forget. Trump got in there the day he was supposed to, just like Trump prophecy said. I get my dates mixed up because I've been through a lot of crap. It's time to enter the club.
Secretary of State John Kerry was not in Washington, D.C. on election night. He was actually traveling about as far away from civilization as possible. Kerry is currently in Antarctica, where he plans to witness some of the greatest effects of climate change firsthand. But he's also breaking a few records while he's at it. Kerry is now the first Secretary of State to visit all 7 continents. According to the U.S. Department of State, he's traveled more than 1.3 million miles and spent the equivalent of 118 days in the air. After visiting Antarctica, Kerry will fly to Marrakesh, Morocco for the next round of climate negotiations. Combating climate change has been a pivotal aspect of Kerry's agenda. For Newsy, I'm Grant Timison.
We're having a little sound difficulty here, but
I think this is a war between evil people that are willing to kill on a mass scale, people that would like to end up with weapons of mass destruction, even kill more, with weapons of mass destruction, even kill more, weapons of mass destruction, even kill more.
I know that sounds disturbing, but just bear with me here. We are having some technical difficulties and a little bit of a problem here, but we're talking about the Ark of Gabriel, climate change, about Antarctica, which is suspicious because there was the item that was found.
Guarantee most of you have never heard before.
Gabriel.
The item that was found at Mecca was shipped to Antarctica to a secret Russian base, and Kerry went there during the elections when Trump won. And
welcome everybody to another Manhattan Joint. This is Jason Swift, and today folks, it's the Ark of Gabriel. You don't want to miss this. This amazing global event took place, and it's taking the internet and news by storm because of the implications and the prophecy that the end of the world as we know it is coming. This ark is referred to as the Angel Gabriel's specific instruction to Muhammad and has an eerie message that it would be found at the end of times. So what's the Ark of Gabriel, you're wondering? Well, besides possibly being a weapon of mass destruction in the hands of Saudi Arabia and Britain, it is said the Ark of Gabriel was written directly by the Watchers, Anak, Nephilim, fallen angels, whatever you call these guys. They're the ones described in the book of Enoch. Now, if you're not familiar with Enoch and the book for future generations, do yourself a favor, look up my video on Enoch. Take the time. It's a brief documentary, great documentary. Watch that and come back here. Well, this Ark of Gabriel is actually so important that for the first time in centuries, the Russian Bishop Patriarch Kirill of Moscow met with Pope Francis and warning the world that the end is near. Now, that doesn't pique your interest, then there's an avalanche of conspiracy and secrets surrounding the Ark of Gabriel. To begin, the mysterious Ark was discovered on what other day? Yeah, 9/11. Now, also, that doesn't grab you. While digging deep under the mosque, which is a Muslim place of worship, the workers that discovered the Ark found that it described it as a mysterious box. 15 workers were killed that day by a violent plasma emission as soon as they tried to remove it. Now, if that doesn't grab you, just days later, another blast occurred on September 24th when a second attempt to remove the artifact was made by the same mysterious and controversial plasma emission, but this time left over 4,000 dead. You don't want to miss this one, folks. Absolutely astounding. The Ark of Gabriel. Strap your seatbelts. Thank you for supporting veterans across America by liking and subscribing to my videos. Gabriel.
See, I find this fascinating. This is related to the climate change issue by the Sunday law. I guess Pope Francis gave
Thanks for coming back
something to the Russian bishop or priest that they haven't met in 1,000 years.
The Muslim faith believes spoke to Mary and revealed she would give birth to Jesus and dictated the Quran to the Prophet Muhammad. Also gave an ark to Muhammad to bury at a place of worship where angels prayed before the arrival of man, where would not be removed until the end of the world. It's not the same as the Ark of the Covenant, which is mentioned in the Christian Bible and Quran. As to the contents of this ancient Islamic manuscript, Gabriel's instructions to Muhammad, it centers around a group of instructions given to Muhammad by the angel Gabriel in a cave called Hira. This is located on a mountain called Jabal Anwar near Mecca, wherein this heavenly being entrusted into Muhammad's care a box or ark of immense power. He was forbidden to use it as it belonged to God only, and was instead to be buried in a shrine at the place of worship the angels used before the creation of man, until its future uncovering in the days of Yom al-Qiyamah or Qiyamah, which means literally day of resurrection. Now, upon learning this, the grave and global implications associated with the mysterious Ark of Gabriel, Pope Francis contacted Patriarch Kirill of Moscow, which was the first time this meeting took place in many, many years. Now, Pope Francis requested this urgent and immediate meeting while warning that the end is near. Pretty serious words. Now, what do you think the Pope is talking about when he stated that the end was near? Well, folks, I gotta tell you, he was not talking about the Cowboys games last night. No, the religious leaders of the world, they believe without a doubt that the end of the world is coming due to the prophecy given to Muhammad by the angel Gabriel. Now, guys, it almost doesn't matter if it's true at this point. The fact remains that our world leaders and religious figures believe it is alarm enough, guys. In fact, the meeting between the popes was also about some secret text the Vatican gave to Pope Kirill of Moscow. Now, Patriarch Kirill, while using the secret text given to him by Pope Francis, performed an ancient ritual, guys, over the Ark of Gabriel in the Russian Orthodox Holy Trinity Church, which is the only one in Antarctica. This is where immediately thereafter this mysterious artifact or Ark of Gabriel was transported into the vast interior of this cold and foreboding continent by a highly specialized, a special force unit, Russian, to a destination and purpose not identified, but it's been stated it was in a Russian military base in Antarctica.
This conflict. I don't think this is a religious war. I think this is a war between...
You know, the thing about it is, you got to understand, the Russian base is actually an old Nazi base that experimented with UFOs. So I think it's significant to understand what that's about because it's strange. But listen to this part. This is kind of fascinating. This is in Florida.
A study published last year found that Florida has more people vulnerable to climate change than any other US state.
Harold, good to meet you.
Dan, it's a pleasure.
Let's take a tour of Miami.
How about it?
University of Miami professor Harold Weinless has been tracking the tides here for decades.
How long have you been trying to warn people about the rising sea levels in Miami?
My first talk was, I know...
Apparently the waters are coming up on Florida, and Florida is sinking.
In the last decade alone, flooding in Miami Beach has increased by 400%. The city has spent hundreds of millions of dollars trying to stem the problem.
This road's been raised about 2 feet. You can see, I can go down here. And this would be the sidewalk level of the old place, okay? And so they've raised it up where you are.
And is this enough of a raise, do you think, to stem the water?
Well, we're going to have another 2 feet of rise, according to the U.S. government projections, probably by 2048, maybe earlier.
So they're going to have to raise this again.
And again, and it's going to get faster and faster.
These predictions from Florida International University show what Miami will look like over the next few decades. In 150 years, only 3% of its land, according to the study, will remain.
Let's fast forward here a little bit. Yeah, go to another place, Miami.
So this is Palm Beach, and this is Mar-a-Lago, one of Trump's residences.
It's President Trump's pride and joy. The sprawling estate of Mar-a-Lago has become a de facto White House.
So will this place exist as we know it in 100 years?
If I'm right, this will be something you can go snorkel on. It'll be quite famous. It'll be a former president's mansion.
It'll be a former president's mansion in Atlantis.
This will be Atlantis too.
Trump has called climate change bullshit, a myth, a very expensive hoax. He's pulled out of the Paris Climate Agreement and he's cut funding to the Federal Environmental Protection Agency. Yet it's Trump's presidency that will oversee the relocation of America's first ever climate change refugees.
Well, basically this show, this time around, I know the audio sucks, but I'm trying to tell you all that something happened around 9/11. They discovered a ark or a box at Mecca location, and they went in there to dig it out later in 2015, and they had a major accident, and the first 15 guys tried to grab it, blew up, and they're dead. And then 4,000 were blown up later when they tried to go back in there and get it, but they finally got it. So the main thing we need to understand is that weird is weird, and well, I don't know what matters to you, but believe me, it's just you got to take in mind that these guys are crazy, and who was ever doing that thing? And I think maybe we should run. Just get the hell out of there. They got it in Antarctica. John Kerry went there, but why? I have no idea. Well, good night. This has been the Club FM, 316 Club FM. And remember, God loves you. Stay strong and pray. Yeah, this is Kirk Benton for Club 316 FM. Behave, America. Behave.